He's also said some things, he says he doesn't think I'm too much of a smart person.
I was reminded of the fact that when we say there should be no cuts to Medicaid, we are saying there should be no cuts to illegal immigrants.
The American people know that the bill that we'll be voting on today reduces taxes, creating jobs. It's the elimination of taxes on tips and overtime. It provides for securing the border. It provides for energy independence.
I rise in strong opposition and could never vote for this big, bad, inhumane, and ugly bill because it will wreck health care delivery, takes food from hungry children, sentence seniors to early deaths, eliminate jobs, and destabilize our economy just to give the super rich and wealthy more influence, more power, more wealth. It takes from the poor, from the disabled, from the sick, from the hungry, and gives to the wealthy. This bill is cruel, it is immoral, it is a crime about to happen, it is draconian, it is dangerous, it is criminal. So if you want to stop crime, vote no, as I will, and I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the General for yielding and for his exceptional leadership, recognizing that our budget should be the statement of values of our country and how we allocate our resources reflecting those values. I asked to speak because I hear members on the other side talking about spending on the part of the Democrats, spending for education and health care, and all the needs of food for our children. I just want to remind all of them, speaking to you, Mr. Speaker, that tax cuts are expenditures. They're the biggest spending in this bill, to the tune of $5 trillion. $5 trillion added to the national debt to give tax cuts to the wealthiest people in the country at the expense of feeding our children, health care for our people, and the education of our children. And nothing brings more money to the Treasury than the education of the American people, from early childhood to lifetime learning and every phase of it in between. So you should be ashamed of yourselves to mock spending on education. The best dollar we spend is on educating the American people and the investments in scientific research, the biblical power to cure that science provides for us, cut in this bill, to spend $5 trillion for the wealthiest people in America. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman from Texas recognized.
Mr. Speaker, budgets are value statements. We value letting working families keep more of their hard-earned dollars. We value stewarding tax dollars, protecting our most vulnerable, preserving programs that they depend on, not allowing people in this country illegally to siphon money away, jeopardizing those safety nets. Mr. Speaker.
If Hakeem will stop talking, we'll get the job done for the American people. It takes a lot longer to build a lie than to tell the truth, so he's really spinning a long tail in there. But we're excited. The people will see the effect of this bill. The sooner we can get to it, the sooner the Democrats will stop talking. We'll get this bill done for the people, and we're really excited about it. So I'm ready to roll.
I'm going to take my time and ensure that the American people fully understand how damaging this bill will be to their quality of life. This reckless Republican budget is an immoral document, and everybody should vote no against it because of how it attacks children and seniors and everyday Americans and people with disabilities. It's a crime scene going after the health and the safety and the well-being of the American people. And Mr. Speaker, we want no part of it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I sat here and listened to that panoply of speeches or motions over the last few seconds, I was reminded of the fact that when we say there should be no cuts to Medicaid, we are saying there should be no cuts to illegal immigrants that are getting Medicaid. Now, we live in a world where we spend more money than we bring in. And it is not fair to actual Americans to be forced to take on additional debt to give benefits to people who are not in this country legally. And I would note that that the Democrats have not proposed a solution that would allow us to continue to give benefits to people who shouldn't be here anyway and pay for them without our children going into future debt. We must keep that in mind. We are here to fight for Americans, and that is what this bill does. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chairwoman Virginia Foxx of North Carolina. And indeed, Republicans were elected last November with promises made, promises kept. And despite the extraordinarily ignorant lies on the other side, the American people know that the bill that we'll be voting on today reduces taxes, creating jobs. It's the elimination of taxes on tips and overtime. It provides for securing the border. It provides for energy independence. It provides for the ability of having peace through strength. All of this is in the bill. And then compassion. It's not compassion if you support programs that are ultimately going to fail. But Republicans want people who need assistance to receive the assistance. We already know Margaret Thatcher has identified what they're proposing, and that is socialism will work until you run out spending other people's money. They are putting the poor people of America at risk. We're the ones of compassion. Additionally, with the promises made, promises kept by Donald Trump, I've lived it. I led the delegation to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He did that. People said you shouldn't do it, the State Department, because it leads to dislocation. No, it led to the embassy being in Jerusalem, and it led to the Abraham Accords. We know last week the president was advised, do not bomb Iran. It will lead to World War III. No, it has led to a ceasefire and the ability of having an Abraham Accords extended to other countries, including Syria. And I'm really grateful that Lindsey Graham was such an advisor. The president acted despite the naysayers that we have all around us. I just appreciate Donald Trump. Promises made, promises kept. Thank you. I yield back.
Mr. Speaker, this so-called big, beautiful bill is nothing but a big, ugly betrayal of Alabama families and the big handout to billionaires. There's nothing beautiful about stripping health care from working families. There's nothing beautiful about taking food off the table of the most vulnerable neighbors. And there's nothing beautiful about putting rural hospitals on life support in communities that can least afford it. Mr. Speaker, the cuts in this bill are not just numbers on a page. They are empty cupboards and shuttered clinics. They are hospital wings closed in small towns already struggling to keep their doors open. They are parents lying awake at night wondering how they will afford medicine for a sick child or how they'll keep food on the table if they lose their hours. Here are the facts. 170,000 Alabamians will lose their health care. 700,000 Alabamians will lose or reduce their nutrition assistance. 5 Alabama hospitals will close and add $5 trillion to the national debt. On behalf of the 750,000 Alabamians that I represent in Alabama's 7th Congressional District and the 5 million hardworking Alabamians, I say vote hell no on this bill, and I urge my colleagues to do the same.
Gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
I yield 1 minute to the gentlelady from West Virginia.
President Trump had issued some statements throughout this process saying and urging, insisting that this bill does not cut Medicaid. He's also said some things, he says he doesn't think I'm too much of a smart person. And I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't take a smart person to know if you're being lied to. All right. President Trump, you're either being lied to or you are lying to the American people. Because this bill represents, in the text of this bill, the largest and greatest loss of health care in American history. 17 million Americans will lose their health care on this bill, not undocumented people, not quote unquote the disgusting term illegal, but 17 million Americans will have their health care cut from this bill. On this point of tax on tips, as one of the only people in this body who has lived off of tips, I want to tell you a little bit about the scam of that text, a little bit of the fine print there. The cap on that is $25,000. while you're jacking up taxes on people who make less than $50,000 across the United States, while taking away their SNAP, while taking away their Medicaid, while kicking them off of the ACA and their health care extensions. So if you're at home and you're living off tips, you do the math. Is that worth it to you? Losing all your health care, not able to feed your babies, not being able to put a diaper on their bottom in exchange for what? This bill is a deal with the devil. It explodes our national debt. It militarizes our entire economy, and it strips away health care and basic dignity of the American people. For what? To give Elon Musk a tax break and billionaires the greedy taking of our nation. We cannot stand for it, and we will not support it. You should be ashamed.
Today, Senate Republicans betrayed the American people and covered this chamber in shame. In one fell swoop, Republicans passed the biggest tax breaks for billionaires ever seen, paid for by ripping health care away from millions of Americans, taking food out of the mouth of hungry kids. This is not a big, beautiful bill at all. That is why I moved on the floor to strike the title. It is now called The Act, but it is really a big, ugly betrayal. Because of this bill, tens of millions will lose health insurance. Millions of jobs will disappear. People will get sick and die. Kids will go hungry. And the debt will explode to levels we have never seen. All so that billionaires and corporate special interests get a permanent tax break. This is not what the country needs. This is not what the American people want. And I must say this: Republicans bent and twisted and pushed the rules and the norms of the Senate to get this bill done, and they have done grave damage to this chamber when they did it. All just so they can pass tax breaks for billionaires. Today's vote will haunt our Republican colleagues for years to come, as the American people see the damage that is done, as hospitals close, as people are laid off, as costs go up, as the debt increases. They will see what our colleagues have done, and they will remember it. And we Democrats will make sure they remember it. The American people will not forget the betrayal that took place today. I yield the floor. Note the absence of a quorum.
Will the senator withdraw his request?
I withdraw my request.